On the news at 7, Ondo State Government inaugurates liaison officers in a bid to tackle environmental challenges. As world marks Drug Abuse Day, experts call for increased advocacy. And from the foreign scene, Russia investigates Wagner mercenary group after revolt. Good evening and welcome to the news at 7. I am Akinwumi Abodunde. The impact of climate change will put at least 700 million people at risk of extreme poverty if not properly handled before 2030. This is the projection of stakeholders as the world takes proactive steps to tackle the environmental challenge, which is the 13th of the Sustainable Development Goals. Hence, the inauguration of climate change liaison officers in Ondo State. Omoshilola Adesoya has details.
Gathered here are representatives of relevant ministries, departments and agencies of government and non-governmental organizations in the business of protecting the environment across the 18 local government areas of Ondo State. Their aim is to work out strategies on how to manage climate change for sustainable development in the state. In his welcome address, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Bumi Alade, said the move became imperative to further entrench and expand the scope of information to the grassroots.
This will in turn make information on governance of climate change, mitigative and adaptive interventions and programs smoothly and safely get to the grassroots whenever the need arises.
While inaugurating the officers, the Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Sunday Akinwalire, reeled off some of the efforts of the present administration in tackling environmental degradation.
Mr. Governor has in place structures, most especially in the area of climate change action plan in the state, and structures at high level has been done. So we need the participation of all and sundry to make sure that this laudable policy on climate change is brought to the localities all around us.
He affirmed that the officers have been empowered to prosecute anyone engaging in acts capable of threatening the environment.
Of recent, we've been able to have a special court now to handle environmental cases, so that to make sure that justice is dispensed and anybody caught now at least will serve as deterrent to others.
Delivering a lecture on climate change management towards sustainable development in Ondo State, the Director of Climate Change in the ministry, Mr. Olorunwa Olowoparija, noted that it is the duty of every citizen to fight climate change.
The action we take today will influence greenhouse gas emission and magnified warming, that is earth warming. It will also affect our ability to respond and adapt to changes and reduce the vulnerability of people and places to harm.
Drawn from MDAs as well as registered NGOs, the liaison officers are to advocate, coordinate, monitor, report and provide technical guidance to various organizations on climate change and at local government level. Omoshilola Adesoya, Osrc News.
Today is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, also called World Drug Day. It aims to strengthen action and cooperation in achieving a world free of drug abuse. This year's campaign raises awareness about the importance of treating people who use drugs with respect and empathy, providing evidence-based voluntary services for all, offering alternatives to punishment, prioritizing prevention and leading with compassion. This year's campaign also aims to combat stigma and discrimination against people who use drugs by promoting language and attitudes that are respectful and non-judgmental. The theme for this year is People First, Stop Stigma and Discrimination, Strengthen Prevention. Meanwhile, the chairman of a group, War Against Drug Abuse, Mr. Seyi Ogundikwe, has called for more effort to end the menace of drug abuse in Nigeria. Mr. Ogundikwe said curbing the increase in abuse among Nigerian youths should involve more advocacy on the dangers inherent in the practice and recognizing that drug consumption is a problem that cannot be solved by stigmatizing or discriminating against addicts.
Using of hard drugs has actually taken many lives to the early graves, has deformed many persons. So it's on this premise that drugs does not have any good name or does not have any good traits. So it's on this premise we are saying that people should stop the usage of hard drugs. It's a known fact that people who take hard drug, society, people doesn't want to relate with them because they see it as something, they see it as evil. But this time we now believe this is not even the core way, it's not even main reason to actually call this particular injuriousness. There's a popular saying that says the world is corrupt, not because of the violence of the ignorant, but silent of the elites. I know at the elites, you and I, if we decide to keep quiet on something that are very, very salient, or we try to actually shy away from it, it will not even solve the problem. So it's on this premise we believe, okay, how can we actually solve this particular injuriousness? Let us bring them together. Let us make friends with them. During this particular process, we can actually change them from this injuriousness.
The Ondo State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has seized 19,354 kilograms of drugs, including cocaine, heroin, and Indian hemp, among others, this year. The State Commander of the agency, Kayode Raji, during the commemoration of the 2023 United Nations International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, tasked residents on the dangers inherent in drug abuse.
More arrests to make, it means that the more drug barons are there in the society. A lot of arrests have been made. Between June 2022 and May this year, about 19 tons of various types of drugs have been have been seized. That's about 19,554 kilograms of assorted drugs have been seized. Of course, we have heroin, we have cocaine, we have tramadol, that's psychotropic substances. Then we have cannabis. So many of them, about 19.5 tons of them have been seized. This is a gargantuan figure, a figure that shows that there's still much work to be done, because it means that most of these drugs are still there in circulation. The joy is not in reeling out the numbers. The joy actually is in totally suppressing or eliminating the issues of drug dealing and consumption. And that is why we have intensified our effort in ensuring that people are cancelled. Rather than just arresting, people are cancelled. So we go to schools, we go to garages, we go to motor parks, even we go to communities and associations to let them know the evil effect of drugs.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has decorated the new Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, describing his appointment by President Bola Tinubu as a morale booster for officers in the service. Shettima congratulated Adeniyi for bringing professionalism back to the service, noting that every customs officer can aspire to occupy the pinnacle of his or her profession. The Vice President, who said this at a brief ceremony witnessed by the Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, at the Presidential Villa, said in the last 8 years, the Nigeria Customs Service had gone through a period of transition, but called for a customs service that can still live to its full potentials through more innovations. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says that unless Nigeria strengthens our rule of law and the fight against corruption, the country will not move forward. He said the law of the land must be worked in such a way that both the big and the small are treated the same way to give everyone a sense of justice and fairness. Speaking on the war against corruption, Abbas said the country's anti-corruption drive must also be strengthened for meaningful progress to be recorded. The Speaker said if the country can get the rule of law working, it will be able to work on the reforms necessary to fight corruption. The governor of Osrc State, Ademola Adeleke, has dispelled rumors doing the rounds that he is plotting to subvert the death sentence on Dr. Rahman Adedoyin, the killer of Obafemi Awolowo University Master's student Timothy Adegoke. Adegoke was found dead in November 2021 at Adedoyin's Hilton Honors Hotel Ile-Ife, where he had lodged. In a judgment on May 31, the Chief Judge of Osrc State, Justice Adekpile Ojo, pronounced Adedoyin and two staff members of the hotel guilty of murder. Ojo, in a judgment that lasted over 2 hours, had held that the circumstantial evidence available to the court pointed to the killing of Adegoke while being a guest at the hotel owned by Adedoyin. Reacting to the allegation, the spokesperson for the governor, Olawale Rasheed, in a statement affirmed that there is no plan to pardon Adedoyin, who is also the proprietor of Oduduwa University. Governor Adeleke, in the statement, said his administration has and never will intervene in the judicial process, labeling those behind the fake news as public enemies. You're watching the news at 7 on Osrc television. We'll take a break at this point. The news continues shortly. Please stay with us.
Words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide. Happy birthday!
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
I am happy to be here. I'm blessed to be among. Happy to be here. I'm blessed to be among. Celebrate Ileasala in good health. Thank you, Allah, for keeping me alive.
I am happy to be here. I'm blessed to be among. Happy to be here. I'm blessed to be among. To celebrate Ileasala in good health. Thank you, Allah, for keeping me alive.
Down Nigeria,
but that is Allah.
I know homes and property.
Suke Mabuja.
Adron Homes.
Building cities, communities, and homes.
Abwad Multi-System Hospital at Duekiti, best equipped hospital in sub-Saharan Africa, offers the following services at the main hospital and the annexes at Bashuri and Oduado in Aduekiti. Free antenatal registration and consultation for all pregnant women. Free registration, consultation and immunization for children under 5 years. Other services at discounted rate include open heart surgeries, dialysis and kidney transplant, brain, spine and total joint replacement surgeries, correction of deformities, full range dental procedures, out and in patient services, cutting edge MRI and CT scans. For further inquiries, call 081 601 60011, 080 601 86037. Announcer, Chief Medical Director.
Upward, a vision in action.
Sound health is considered to be the greatest wealth and assets. That is why Ondo State Government has made access to quality healthcare for all residents through an efficient and affordable health insurance scheme a priority. The entire staff and management of the Ondo State Contributory Health Commission on this occasion of our 4th anniversary of operation wishes to thank all enrollees and stakeholders for their support all through the years. We hereby pledge not to rest on our oars until every resident of the Sunshine State is covered under the health insurance scheme. Ondo State Contributory Health Scheme. NairaWise Health Smarts.
I wish you were here.
I'm always with you.
Get ready to encounter the incredible. And remember, no be juju, na MTN 5G.
Win an all-expense-paid trip to Disneyland in the Indomie Golden Magnet promo. To participate, just buy the Indomie 70-gram pack and look for the magnet inside. Log into www.indomie.ng/Golden Magnet promo to fill in your details and enter your unique magnet code. All the Golden Magnet winners will get to experience the wonders of Disneyland. Silver Magnet winners stand a chance to win amazing prizes. Every pack of Indomie you buy comes with your favorite Indomitable magnet. Terms and conditions apply. Indomie, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Thank you for staying with us on the news. You can also watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. A middle-aged man, Mr. Glory Jato, at Bethel Estate in Obaile, Akure, has lost his life to flood as the menace continues to ravage more communities in Akure. Report says the man, who was said to be a federal government worker, was returning from work when he was swept away on Friday. Our correspondent, Kunle Ario, reports.
For 2 consecutive days, there was torrential rain in Akure and environs. Several communities suffered severe flooding on Saturday, as many access roads were cut off due to rainfall that started on Friday and lasted more than 24 hours. The rain in its wake left many areas flooded and properties destroyed. Residents of Bethel Estate in Obaile, Akure North local government area of the state, were however badly hit, as one of them, Mr. Glory Jato, got swept away by the flood. The Assistant Secretary of Landlord Association of Bethel Estate, Obaile, Mr. Gbenga Ojuloge, said the community needed government intervention to help dredge the waterways to prevent future occurrence. Ojuloge said the water had become a death trap as a result of the constant overflow of the river during the rainy season. He said that all efforts by the community to ensure that the flood was kept at bay proved full-time.
In line, the person entered into the water and the flood just moved the person out of the way. What we are getting now is that 3 hours later, the man later died.
Also speaking, one of the landlords, Mr. Olushola Osholapan, lamented the difficulty experienced in assessing the estate once it rained heavily and tasked government and relevant agencies on quick intervention.
Comes and overpowers the bridge.
everything is eroded. You can see as that the rain that fell 2 days ago, nobody could access this road. Once you are in town and you live in this community, you will be stuck outside the community. Once you are inside, you will be stuck inside, you can't go out. So we are calling on the government to please come to our aid to help us fix this bridge, because we are so overwhelmed at the moment.
For another resident of the community, Mrs. Oluwatosin Bitoyin, said death of the young man was sad.
Fly this road to take our children to school on a daily basis, and we have children that go to school by foot. So whenever it's raining and there is flood, they have to go back home. So, and this road is a major road even to other communities.
Residents of the estate are looking up to government and relevant agencies to forestall a future occurrence. Kunle Ario, Osrc News.
The federal government has renamed some federal airports after several notable Nigerians. A memo by the Director of Airport Operations, Federal Ministry of Aviation, Mrs. Joke Olatunji, noted that the president renamed the airports as part of reforms of the aviation sector. The Maiduguri Airport was renamed after the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari, and the Port Harcourt Airport after the late nationalist Obafemi Awolowo, while the Nasarawa Airport immortalized the late founder of the Sokoto Caliphate, Usman Danfodio. Also, the Benin Airport was renamed after the late Oba of Benin, Oba Akenzua II. Ebonyi Airport after the late Senate President Chuba Okadibo, and the Ibadan Airport after the late Premier of the Old Western Region, Ladoke Akintola. Other airports renamed include the Akure Airport, renamed after Olumuyiwa Bernard Aliyu, Dutse Airport, renamed Muhammad Nuhu Senusi, Gombe Airport now bears Brigadier Zakari Maimalari, Ilorin Airport was renamed after General Tunde Diagbon, Kaduna Airport now Hassan Usman Katsina Airport, Makurdi Airport renamed Joseph Taka Airport, Mina Airport is now Malam Abubakar Imam Airport, Osubi Airport was renamed after Alfred Dieter Spiff, and Yola Airport was renamed after Lamido Aliyu Mustafa. The federal government has suspended construction on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to allow flow of traffic ahead of the forthcoming Eid al-Kabir festival this week. The Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, in a statement by the Federal Controller of Works, Lagos, Mrs. Olukorede Kesha, noted that construction work on the busy highway would be suspended from tomorrow, June 27, to Sunday, July 2. According to her, the action was prompted by a recent heavy traffic flow on the Lagos-Shagamu route, inclement weather conditions, the forthcoming Eid al-Kabir, and the advice of the traffic management team deployed to manage traffic-related issues on the project. Mrs. Keshan added that construction will resume on Monday, 3rd of July. In the meantime, the Federal Road Safety Corps has directed the mobilization of adequate logistics and personnel for the Eid al-Kabir celebration to guarantee safe travels for all road users. The Corps Marshal Dauda Alibiu, in a statement, said the special patrol operations should commence today, June 26, and end July 1, 2023. Biu said about 750 patrol vehicles, 120 ambulances, 25 tow trucks, and over 200 bikes will be on the road during the special operation, and urged FRSC officers to ensure prompt response to traffic crash victims, engagement of robust public education and enlightenment, and speedy removal of obstructions from the highways, among others. Protesters today took to the streets of Kano to express their strong opposition to the ongoing demolition exercise by the state government. Numerous structures have already been brought to the ground, while several others have been marked for demolition. The government's rationale behind the action is that the land on which the affected structures were built was unlawfully allocated by the previous administration, asserting the need to restore the Kano Urban Development Master Plan, which includes the removal of structures constructed in public spaces. However, the protesters are demanding that the government should reconsider its decision. Spokesperson of the demonstrators and Coalition for Good Governance and Change Initiative, Zahreddin Sani Abba, said if the incumbent governor has any issues with his predecessor, he should summon him to answer questions instead of punishing innocent Nigerians and destroying their investments. According to him, the protest signifies the mounting concerns among citizens who fear the negative impact of the demolition on the state's economy and overall development. Moving to the foreign scene, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu has visited Russian troops in Ukraine. It is his first public appearance since the leader of the Wagner mercenary group, which had fought side by side the Russian military, led a rebellion on Saturday. The Wagner chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, blames the Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu for his fighter's death. Prigozhin had demanded that Russia's southern command post in Rostov be handed over to him after taking control. Meanwhile, Russian state news has reported that the head of the Wagner mercenary group is under investigation, and that is despite a story granting him immunity after his forces took military sites in southern Russia. Sports. Nigeria's men's rugby team, the Black Stallions, are through to the final qualifying round of the rugby event for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, France. The Black Stallions defeated Ghana 24-7 in the opening match of the qualifier before beating Burundi 43-14, and in the last group match blew apart Congo 43-0. The team, who made it to the final on the backdrop of an impressive win from the group stage to the final, however, lost 24-5 to Algeria on Sunday. Nigeria and Algeria will join Uganda, Zimbabwe, Burkina Faso, Namibia, Madagascar, Tunisia, Kenya, and South Africa, who have already qualified for the final qualifying phase in Zimbabwe. The 2024 Paris Olympic rugby event final qualifying phase will hold in Zimbabwe in September this year. To end the news at 7, another look at the major stories. Ondo State government has inaugurated liaison officers in a bid to tackle environmental challenges across the 18 local government areas of the state. Experts have called for increased advocacy to commemorate this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. And from the foreign scene, we told you that Russia says it has begun investigation into the Wagner mercenary group, whose leader led a rebellion against the Russian military on Saturday. That's it on the news at 7. Thank you for being a part of it. Good evening.